5 to go, and there's a foul up top, and there you know it's going to happen sooner or later. Oh boy, oh come on now, this isn't what we want.
This was probably the biggest brawl we've ever seen in EuroLeague's history. But how did we get here, why this hard foul by a Real Madrid player caused such a chain reaction, and what followed next? Just before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we are giving away this Nikola Jokic jersey to one lucky subscriber once we hit 75,000. Now let's clear some things out. The incident took place during the EuroLeague playoffs, specifically Game 2 of the quarterfinal series between Real Madrid and Partizan Belgrade. The Royal club, who had one of the biggest budgets in Europe, already lost Game 1 to the Serbian underdogs. Well, they didn't just lose, they literally lost on a game-winning buzzer beater in front of their home crowd.
This is going to be it right here. Kevin Punter's going to try to break it down. He's from deep. Kevin Punter over the top of Yabusele!
And I think this had quite a big emotional impact on Madrid's players coming into Game 2. The frustration kept building up as the second game was even worse for the Spaniards, who were trailing in double digits approaching the end of the fourth quarter. Now imagine this, you're the favorite to win best-of-5 series, but you're about to lose both of your home games. Not only that, but the opponent's star player is rubbing it in your face by performing fancy dribble combos.
Up top, Punter with Sergio Yui, crossing him up a little bit.
And that's where history happens. Sergio Yui stops Kevin Punter with a hard foul, smacking him across the chest. Punter immediately squares off with Yui, holding up a fist in his face, and the scuffle grows out of control as teammates of both players rush in. And what happens next is why we can call this the European Malice at the Palace.
Oh boy, oh come on now, this isn't what we want. This is not what we want. This has got to be stopped.
There's a lot to unpack here, so let's break it down from a few angles. Guerschon Yabusele joined the scuffle first, followed by Dante Exum, who tried to separate the trio. Then we see Gabriel Deck jumping onto Exum's back and wrapping his arms around the Australian. Exum breaks free and responds by hitting Deck into his stomach. Immediately, Yabusele grabs him from behind and performs his best impression of a WWE suplex, slamming Exum on the floor.
Mo just got himself a one-way ticket to Suplex City.
Meanwhile, Canan Musa tries to confront Punter but gets slapped in the face. As Exum is trying to get up, Mathias Lessort runs in from the half court and shoves Musa down to the ground. I mean, I understand when in football players grab their face after any sort of contact, but Canan quickly understood nobody was paying attention. On the other side of the scuffle, Yabusele breaks out from the referees and teammates' hold, but then gets separated again. Finally, his family members had to run onto the court to calm him down and walk Yabusele out of the arena.
Everybody to the bench.
After the fight, referees took a long look at all the replays and decided that astonishing 21 players were going to be ejected from the game, leaving only Lede, Poirier, and Yui, who started this whole thing ironically, available to play. The game was stopped with 1 minute 40 left to play and the victory awarded to Partizan. As according to EuroLeague regulations, for the game to continue, there must be at least 2 players available on each team. The drama didn't end there, as Dante Exum's father wanted to attend to his injured son but wasn't allowed to do so, getting into a verbal altercation with arena security. You can understand Exum's father's frustration, as his son could have been seriously injured and was later seen leaving the arena with crutches. Although the whole scene was quite insane, we must address Yabusele's action against Exum separately. A move that you would probably see in the WWE or a UFC fight could have had much more severe consequences. We're talking about a 204 cm and 120 kg Guerschon Yabusele, who had a much lighter guy going head first to the hardwood. The head, neck and spine are very sensitive areas of the human body, and with that big of a downward force, we were inches away from a disaster. In fact, Dante Exum ended up injured, but it wasn't career or life-threatening, and most likely wasn't caused by the slam. Partizan's doctor revealed that a tendon in one of Exum's toes had ruptured and immediately asked for Yabusele's punishment. The way Yabusele threw him with a judo move, that's asking for prison or a life suspension, he stated. Now, before we move on to the aftermath of this fight, a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Kicks. Since 1993, Kicks has been a specialist for retro and performance basketball shoes, limited sneakers, and high-quality streetwear apparel. With thousands of constantly updated performance and basketball culture products, they are the go-to place for basketball players and everyone who identifies with the never not ballin' credo. Check out kicks.com for the very best basketball gear in the game and use our special promo code BasketNews10 for 10% off. Link in description. Now coming back to the video, several hours after the game, Punter took to Twitter to push back against a notion that he started the fight, replying to an article that put blame on both him and Yui. Other EuroLeague players also weighed in, while Eric McCollum was already looking forward to Game 3. I hope everyone is healthy and they can continue, but if I'm a Madrid player, there's zero chance I leave that hotel other than to practice. Might not even wear team gear either the entire time in Serbia. And it wasn't just McCollum who was curious, or you could say a bit worried about Real Madrid coming to Belgrade. If you follow European basketball, you know what Partizan fans are like. Real Madrid immediately issued a list of demands for EuroLeague before the trip to Belgrade, while Partizan's head coach Željko Obradović sent a message to fans asking for hospitality to their opponents. Another hot topic during the aftermath was awaiting suspensions for the players. Remembering the original Malice at the Palace in 2004, the penalties were no joke. What was the EuroLeague's response? Well, the owner of one of the European basketball powerhouses, Panathinaikos, called it ridiculous.
Yesterday, the whole of European basketball was ridiculed around the world with what happened in the Real Partizan game. The next time, I should not swear, I should not ridicule, I should start hitting people.
While many, including myself, were expecting at least a one-year ban for Yabusele, he was handed just a 5-game suspension. Punter was going to miss 2 games, while Mathias Lessort and Gabriel Deck just 1. Interestingly, Sergio Yui, who started the whole thing, wasn't punished at all. Some EuroLeague players called those penalties BS, while others wondered how Yui got away clean. Although quite brief, these suspensions turned out to be very significant for the series. Sure, Real had lost 2 of their starters, one for the season and the other one for 1 game, but their roster was still so much deeper than Partizan's. The Serbians, on the other hand, lost both their leading scorer and the main rim protector. You'll see why that was important in a second. What followed next was, in my opinion, the most anticipated EuroLeague match ever. Game 3 in Stark Arena. As you could expect, the home crowd created deafening noise.
And a wonderful message being shared between the players of Real Madrid.
And put on yet another show. The pressure really got to Real Madrid players as they started the game 0-12, but then the suspensions started playing their part. Nobody could stop the giant Eddie Tavares, and while the game was close, Partizan really missed their leader in the clutch, losing the game by 2 points.
Hanger looking for a receiver, he can't get the ball in bounds, he goes long, and it's off the eye, the ball is loose, and it's a 1-score game! Nunnally have lost control, keeps control, gets it up!
Nobody could have expected or prepared for what happened between Game 3 and 4 in Belgrade. A horrific tragedy that made everyone forget about that incident or basketball in general. On the 3rd of May 2023, there was a school shooting that took the lives of 8 children and 1 adult. My prayers and condolences to all the victims' families. The news was shocking, and coming into Game 4, it was clear everyone in attendance, as well as the players, were really affected by it. Both teams paid their respects before the game, while the fans showed a nice gesture throwing flowers for the victims on the court.
Between the number 3 seeds Real Madrid and the number 6 seeds Partizan Mozart Bet Belgrade.
The atmosphere in Stark Arena was unique in an odd way, as the fans did not sing any of their usual songs in the first half, plus there was no music played during the whole game. Now, coming back to that basketball game, Real Madrid came out on top again and took the series back to Madrid for all or nothing Game 5. The decisive game of the series did not disappoint either, as Punter put on a show in his return, building up a 17-point lead in the 3rd quarter.
Partizan doesn't want to shoot from deep, but that guy does right there. Punter looks
It seemed like there was poetic justice in this whole situation and Partizan would come out on top. But then, with the help of their veteran players Rudy Fernandez, Sergio Llull and Sergio Rodriguez, Real Madrid managed to pull off an upset with a huge comeback.
As Anga's going to dribble out the clock and Real Madrid comes back from 0-2.
After the loss, Exum wasn't hiding his distaste for Real and Yabusele specifically. The series changed when the bodies got slammed, 100%. We lost 2 of our guys, and I'm playing injured for the rest of the series. What else can you say? And then he added this. I think it's funny how they control the narrative and story. They came out in the media with all the apologies. I didn't get one apology straight from Yabusele. It just shows how they are. I guess Real Madrid fans chanting Yabusele didn't help either. Looking at this whole situation retrospectively, I would argue that Real Madrid, or specifically Llull and Yabusele, actually saved the series and their season with that incident. With full rosters on each side, Partizan just looked like a better team. I just believe if that fight never happened, we would have seen a 3-0 sweep by the underdogs. But what do you guys think about the European malice at the Palace? Do you think Sergio Llull deserved to be punished more? Perhaps you blame Punter for reacting to the provocation. Let me hear all of it in the comments below. Drop a like on this video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.